All right. So I'm really excited. I'm excited to be here with you, Caroline, and I'm excited for all the people joining us. So if you are joining us live on the Facebook group, then send us a message and just say, hi, I'm here, and where you are coming in from. If you're listening to the replay on this, then please also send us a little note and, just say hi. So I am right now with Caroline from New Zealand, and Caroline has just finished the Woman Beat Your Drum program, and she has lots to share with you. So Caroline, thank you so much for making this time available. And I just thought maybe you could introduce yourself a little.
Tēnā tātou katoa, ko maunga waka te maunga, ko tuki tuki te awa, ko ingarangi te iwi, ko Tilah te hapu. Ko Caroline Tilah tōku ingoa, nōrara tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. So yes, I hail from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and that was my pepeha, which we do to introduce ourselves where we're from. So I'm originally from England. I immigrated to New Zealand when I was 13 to a small town in the Hawke's Bay. I associate my mountain as the Rimutakas, which is the mountain between where we moved to and Palmerston North, where I trained as a registered nurse. And my river, my awa, is the Tuki Tuki, which goes from the Hawke's Bay right down through to the sea. I am a mother of a 23-year-old now and a 21-year-old very soon. We have a big party this weekend. I have worked in health all of my life and currently in a national health role for a Crown entity. And one of the reasons for using my pepeha today is that we are very focused on honouring Te Tiriti o Waitangi, the Treaty of Waitangi, which is the foundation document of our country. So thank you, Leanne. This is me.
Wow. As you share that, Caroline, I'm just so moved, like the tears are right there. I can just feel such a, just such respect and reverence that you introduce yourself with. And, it's something that, I noticed in New Zealand, was, my 29 years there, was that these things were very important, for Kiwi, to know like where you hail from, where you are from, like where you were born, and then and I love that the mountain and river you identify with, so your geographical location. And, it's something that, like I have not experienced in the other cultures that I've had, the privilege to be part of and to explore and visit. So, wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I want to explore your experience in the Woman Beat Your Drum program. And so, there are so many other programs out there. And, why did you choose the Woman Beat Your Drum program?
Yeah. Well, I have a very good friend, Angela, who knows you and has done work with you. And she introduced me to the program and recommended it to me. And I trust her explicitly. She's done a lot of work for herself. And just as Sally said the other day, the title really appealed to me, Woman Beat Your Own Drum. And talking through it with you, it was different for me. I'm not a person who has meditated. What's the word? I'm not very woohoo. That's the word an old flatmate of mine used to use. It was very different. It was a leap of faith, but I'm extremely glad that I did it. Yes, it's been fantastic.
Awesome. And so tell me, so, speaking of that, like those initial conversations we had in the beginning, before you registered, like just, that before moment, what was the obstacle that was there that could have held you back but didn't? and that you stepped through?
Well, to be very honest, financially was a little bit of an obstacle for me. Although I earn a lot of money, I was concerned about how much I needed to pay. However, when we talked through that and we worked out a way that I could do that, actually it hasn't been a big obstacle. I just, and I guess it comes back to sort of recognizing that I'm worth it, that I deserve things, and you know, I wouldn't hesitate in doing something like this for one of my family members or someone that I love very much, and yet I was resisting it for myself. So yes, it was getting my head around the financial commitment, which was fine in the end, and yeah. And when I was because initially we talked about it, and I thought, oh no, I won't do that. But I felt so disappointed in myself, and I thought, no, you need to do this, and then I went ahead. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Just really honor what you say, because, what you said was, so initially the obstacle was finances, right? And then and now you said, actually, it wasn't an obstacle at all.
No.
Because it was actually, it wasn't
mindset that I had. Yeah.
Exactly. Because it wasn't, it often is not the issue, and it really is about your own self-worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So there you were then. You said yes. Now, then what did you want from the program? And then what did you actually get?
Yeah. Look, I've raised my children since they were 3 and 5 by myself. I've been very successful in my career. I have always my mother used to say, put your clean penny on. I've always just gone on and done stuff and kept going and kept going and kept going. I did have diagnosed with breast cancer 3 years ago, and I kept working through all that treatment, surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, kept going, until the point I physically couldn't keep going. And also I got, after my cancer diagnosis, that I couldn't keep doing that. I needed to look after myself and look after my health. And so I changed my job. It's still an interesting, very important role, but it's not as intensive as my previous executive role. But still something was missing. And because I've had my 2 children and me, just ourselves as a family unit for such a long time, and they're now older, and they went off flatting, and I suddenly was by myself. And all the things I used to do to make me feel better just weren't working anymore. I was feeling, it was not so much my purpose, but I just lost my joy in life. And I knew I had to do something, because I don't want to live like that. I've always taken action with things, and I couldn't get myself out of how I was feeling. And I knew there was something there, but I wasn't quite sure what it was. What I thought I wanted was a relationship with a man, after not having one since a very brief one for a while, but nothing major, raising my children by myself. And yeah, I thought I wanted to come to this to find love, and I was going to find that through another person.
Okay. So, and you mentioned about the, your children, and, that once they then went off flatting, or, in their own apartment, right?
Yes,
then,
that's right.
Then that kind of left you on your own. And see, this is something that a lot of us don't realize, is that we spend a lot of our life preoccupying ourselves with other people's lives.
Yes, exactly. That's right.
And that's what keeps us busy. And for some people, it even gives them that feeling of purpose. It's like their purpose is about taking care of other people, or, doing things for the people. And when those people disappear, what's left is actually who we have not taken care of.
Exactly. That's right. I was filling my days with things all the time, constantly on the go. Yeah. and not taking care of me. And after my cancer treatment, I got that I needed to take care of me. And I thought that was my diet and my physical health, but I needed to do more. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't know. I remember once,
No.
being asked by a participant in one of my programs, a different program, many years ago, and she said, "How do I love myself?
Yes.
How do I,
Yes.
And it's like, where do we start? Because, and I guess if we just kind of pause for a moment, it's almost like that's a very sad question.
Yeah.
Like, how come we don't know?
Mm.
And, my experience and, from what I see is that we are brought up in a culture that has very little or no knowledge or even consciousness of how to love yourself. In fact, putting yourself first or, taking care of yourself or whatever is selfish.
Mm.
And, or some version of that. And so, we learn that you've got to, do things for other people and take care of other people. And there's no education or understanding of how we do that.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can outwardly look like you've got it all together, but inwardly, you're just filling your days with stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
And
is that how is that how you felt?
I felt that way when my kids had left. I loved raising my children. I love the center of my world, but and it's also I need to back away and let them be the center of their worlds. But just that after being just a tight unit for and being an independent parent, I prefer to use rather than single parent. It's hard work. You're on the go all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And their father had them 1 week each holiday, but I was it. So you just didn't have the time to. You just kept going. And I did things to myself. I went out dancing and did fun things. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't a slave to the whole thing. But I just wasn't, as I said, things just weren't working. Things I used to keep myself going weren't working.
Yes, because inside something was missing. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you were. And something's missing. And you knew there was more. And you figured you wanted, man, that was gonna solve.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that's so you started the program. There you are. And so what did you actually get then from the program?
Yeah. What did I get? I got that my heart was broken, and it was a lot to do with my father. And I had a very powerful one of our sessions where I resolved that with him, and I got happiness back in myself. Getting a little bit teary thinking about it.
Me too.
And also thinking about too, just how all that trauma that he dealt with, because it went back further than him to his father, and I was able to deal with his mother, his father, him, and all the things that happened to us as a family as a result of the decisions that they had made based on what they knew.
Yes.
So, just going back and just dealing with it made such a difference. And I'm just trying to check my notes to make sure I've covered everything because I really want to get this across. Yes, I wasn't, but and the thing I wanted to state was I just wasn't aware that was the issue. I thought I dealt with all that. We were fine. My mother's a strong woman. She raised us on her own pretty much. We'd made it. It was fine. But it wasn't. There was things that were not right that I just was not conscious of.
Yeah.
And so by doing the activated breathing and really getting into the sessions and just being with it too, not trying to control it or do anything, just let whatever comes through, come through. It was just incredible. Yeah. So I have healed my heart. I think I feel whole. I don't feel that I have to be anything or do anything. I'm fine as I am, and I actually get that now. And I'm not having to continually, patch things up and
and pretend you're okay.
And pretend I'm fine. Yes. I mean, this is an awful thing to say, but we did talk about polishing a poo. It's like you can't, you can only slap so much onto something. You've actually got to get to the bare bones and really expose it what it is. And that's what I did. So yeah.
And also too, just to just to clarify for the people, those listening in, they might be thinking, oh my God, I don't want to delve into that stuff, no. And so just to put you all at rest, at ease, really, we don't delve into the details of anything of what happens in your life. Okay, so that's because it doesn't have to. You don't need to re-traumatize yourself,
and you don't need to share it. I mean, I'm choosing to share it. I feel comfortable with that, but you might have to. The way it's the program is run, this is all this internal dialogue you're having and you're dealing with. Yes,
and the work, and the work that that I do and that I guide you is actually you in trusting your own inner wisdom. And then the tools and techniques we have for that, what happens then is your own inner wisdom guides what needs to be healed. And the appropriate things come up. And again, I don't need to delve into them and you don't need to share them all. And, and then just through a process I may be guiding, your inner wisdom guides you through that. And you set yourself free.
And the other thing is the universe has given you messages all the way through your life.
Yes.
Because the thing I got with what the program was, all these little things I used to do, like I used to draw this box all the time. And then as I went through the session, I just saw me in the box and then me out of the box. And it was just, as I say, I'm just not that sort of a person, but it just happened. It was amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting. Because you open your eyes to more, like what's available in life.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, I wasn't that type of person, as in I wasn't in tune with myself before, but I am now. Yeah, I need to say that.
Yeah, nice. And it's because you don't have to, like, in order to do the program, you don't have to be into woo-woo stuff, right?
That's right. But you understand why people are, and it is incredibly powerful. So
yeah.
The people out there that have never meditated think, oh my God, it is you will get why.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people. I've got a foot in both camps, right?
Yeah.
So like I can easily guide the process in opening up. It's like trust in yourself, really.
Yeah.
And it's not like we even do big meditations or
No, that's right, exactly.
Like the meditation, the practice that you do, like a daily one, is like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
right.
not.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So, okay, so then coming back to, you mentioned about, your dad and healing that. Can you give any other examples of how the program has made a difference in your life, and what your life used to be like and what it's like now?
Well, it was interesting. I went to visit my mother in the small town that we immigrated to. And because of things that happened within my family, I don't know, I think I might have been slightly on edge, slightly wary, slightly embarrassed. And when I went back there recently after, towards the end of this program, I didn't feel any of that. I felt confident. And I'm confident in my everyday, but just in my hometown, I didn't have that wariness. I didn't have that watching your back. What are people saying? It wasn't there. It didn't matter. I wasn't even thinking about it. So I was conscious of that.
Yes. And can I just pause on that one? Because, that's not a little thing, It's like, when we go into a particular environment, and so it sounds like this is something where you just going into your old hometown kind of like, there's a bit of a cringe there, and that is actually like an automatic response. And you probably in the past even tried not to cringe, like,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to be confident. You know, you
Oh
go
yeah,
in there.
extremely confident, really out there, just putting on a brave face, you know, all the other stuff I used to do. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a huge difference from there than to actually being able to go there and to not be triggered by anything and to
Yes.
feel
Yeah.
so calm and peaceful and authentic in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, wow, it's
Mm.
huge.
And that was a result of dealing with that thing that happened with my father and my grandfather. So it was, yeah, it didn't just happen. It was an intensive session, and that's why I was that's why that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really, really good.
Mm.
I had a couple of other things I had too.
Yes.
I mentioned before, just when I think of my father, I have a feeling of love and not emptiness. I have that happiness back. And I'd forgotten what that felt like. I remember feeling that as a child, but I haven't
Yes.
felt that way for a very long time. So that's
Wow.
lovely. Yeah. My heart
It's,
feels full when I think of him. Yeah.
that is so beautiful. And it's so precious,
Yeah.
you know, to have that relationship restored, because that
Yeah.
probably, you know, has been something you've been looking for a little
Well,
while.
that's, yeah. And why? Because that wasn't that, because it hadn't been restored, and there it is. But the other most important thing I think I really got one day when I was really struggling and I was resisting doing the activated breathing, and I was all, you know, and I had to sit back and think, what is my purpose and why am I here? And I just listened to myself and I got it. And I had lunch with my daughter that day, and she was talking about some struggles she had, and she was doing what I used to do, you know, put on your clean penny, push yourself through, just get on with it. And I was able to say to her, no, don't keep doing that. That's enough. Listen to yourself and do what's right for you. Yeah, up until then, I'd always been the same. No, pull yourself together, get on with it, just keep going, keep going. And that's what really got to me, that I am changing the behavior of my daughter. I am not
Wow.
carrying on this constant, you have to keep pushing through all the time
Yeah.
and leaving yourself behind. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so powerful what you said. That you don't have to keep pushing yourself
No.
through and leaving yourself behind.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that is what we do. You
All
know,
the time.
well, you used to do it, but
Used
that's
to.
what a lot of
Yes, that's
people
right.
do,
Yeah.
right? Is, you know, when things aren't going that well, or when we feel overwhelmed, or, you know, we push through it.
Yeah.
And that part of us that's overwhelmed, that part of us that's struggling, she or he gets left behind,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
And
know,
it's not
as we
yeah,
pretend.
it's not like you have to turn everything on its head, but you do have to take time to listen to what you need to do for yourself. You know,
Yes.
sometimes we can't change things. Lots of people at the moment are going through a lot of struggle, and it's awful. But
Yeah.
just take the time just to step back and think, okay, what do I need right now for me?
Mhm.
And it just makes such a difference.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's beautiful. And how did your daughter respond? I'm curious.
She was a bit sort of stunned, but then I think she was relieved, and I think our relationship, you know, she always tells me everything, sometimes far too much, but yeah, I'm more warm to her. I'm not quite so, you know, just get on and do. So yeah.
Oh, and that's important too, because, you know, oftentimes, you know, mothers with daughters, you know, can, you know, we can treat our daughters like we treat ourselves.
Oh gosh, yes.
Hard
Yes,
on
that's
them, right?
right. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so when we begin that journey of healing our own wounds
Mm.
and loving ourselves and coming home to ourselves and realizing I'm enough
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I am okay, then we actually, you know, feel that towards our daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
She has a safer place to just say how she's feeling and not have to just, yeah, put on a clean penny.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's so beautiful. So many times, people think, like, and like yourself too, you probably noticed, like in the past, you probably noticed that you were a bit, harsh or sharp with
Oh
your
yes, oh
daughter.
gosh, yes, yeah. Firm but fair, I think is what people used to describe me as.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And we can justify it that it's all okay
Yeah.
and stuff.
Mm.
And then even sometimes we may start to think, oh gee, I should, ease up and, but and even doing strategies to try and do that doesn't work
Yeah.
because the work that needs to be done is here,
Mm.
not over there.
Mm.
Yeah, you do the work here and then over there gets sorted.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yes. Yeah. Just while we're on this conversation, I have a question that came in, and the question is, um, and that's just for us to discuss, but we this is a good timing for it. I'm thinking. She said, "Are there any strategies for what to do when life is overwhelming, and just keeping up with, the bare minimum is challenging?"
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
Well, now I would say just taking that time to be with yourself. And as I said, the activated breathing really works for me. It just centers me. It draws on the energy from around me and my ancestors and my future self. It just grounds me and gives me the headspace for the universe to guide me in what I need to do. Now, that sounds incredibly woohoo. I get that. But it is just taking the moment to stop and just center yourself. And your first priority is, what do I need in this situation? As I said before, you can't always change everything, but what do I need right now? And then you have the energy to move forward. So I think it's just being open to, you're not on your own in this world. There's lots of support around you that you're just not conscious of, and just to take the time to tune in. And yeah, I think that's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, that is very wise advice,
Mm.
and I think the first thing is to, just pause, like you said,
Yeah, just
you
stop.
know? Yeah, because, while we when we're overwhelmed, the tendency can be, just kind of keep going,
Yeah.
like you said, like push through,
Mm.
right? And when we do that, we're in automatic, which means when we're in automatic, it's all of our automatic thinking processes that have taken over.
Mm.
And and as you know now, that all of those thoughts are all around, you're not good enough, you're not going to make it, it's too hard, I can't do, or whatever, right? So we've all
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
our own
Whatever
recipe
going on.
version,
Right. Yeah. That's
with that.
pushing you to keep doing, to be in that situation sometimes. And I'm not saying we're creating it. It's just, I always had to be on top of everything. Everything was
Mm.
working well, which meant I was exhausted all of the time. When
Yeah.
actually I don't have to be good at, good is good enough, seriously. And I don't have to do everything either. It's actually, my purpose I had was that I needed to be I want to be in the flow of love and connected to the rhythm of life, which is just perfect because I was giving so much love. But I actually deserve to receive love and be in the flow of it and connected to the rhythm of life. I love being around people and of service with people. So, thinking about my career and what I'm doing and if that fits with what really makes me happy. Yeah. So just, yeah, as you say, you just step back and think, what is this about? And yeah, the answers will
Yeah.
come. Mm.
Yes. To stop, to pause,
Mm.
slow down, and and do some breathing. I know, you've mentioned, the activation breath, and that's, it's not a secret password, just letting people know who are listening. you know,
That's
you
what
know, Yeah. And if you are just joining us as well, live or in the replay, please leave a little note, say hi. And also you can ask more questions. So both Caroline and I will go in and, respond and answer questions. So please feel free, if Caroline has said something that, you connect with and relate with, and it might be similar, to what's happening in your life, I'm sure she won't mind you asking, and, she'll, share a little bit more. Yeah. So, but anyway, so the activation breath is, it's part of the Woman Beat Your Drum program. And so I'll leave it at that. But it's a particular breathing technique. But there are a lot of really good breathing techniques out there. And so that's the first thing, is to pause and then slow your breath down. And, it's in that moment when you're going to begin interrupting the automatic thinking patterns that are just wanting you to push ahead and, pretend everything's okay and you can handle it. It's like, whoa, just take that moment to pause, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And, and like you said, Caroline, the answer will come. And sometimes, and really honestly, sometimes there isn't an answer.
No,
to come.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like, the fruit on a tree can be picked only when it's ripe. And so sometimes, and I know, I've had this too. I'll be meditating, I'll be wanting an answer on something, and I meditate, and I ask the question, and nothing happens. And it's not that my meditation doesn't work. It's not like it's broken. It's the answer is not ready to come yet. And one of the things, when we are feeling overwhelmed, that can really, really help is, in addition to pause, slow down, and take a couple of nice deep breaths, is just to go outside if you can and find something in nature, whether it's a tree or a flower or a bush. And now this is going to sound really woo-woo and weird. But it works, which is just go and spend time. Take 5 minutes and just look at it. And don't do anything else with that 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, that's not one of the techniques in the program, by the way, but but really, it just kind of, like it'll sometimes in our minds, all the overwhelm can be caused by a lot of future catastrophizing, and things get, when we catastrophize, it's like, oh my God, it gets even worse. And it's like, no, what you want to do is just find something to bring your attention to this right now, and just look at that. And that's all you need to attend to in that moment, and it will calm you right down. So there's a whole science behind it, actually, in psychology.
That's right. Yeah. So
Caroline, if there was a message that you wanted to leave people who they're thinking about participating in the program, but they're not sure, what would you say to them?
I would say just do it. So something isn't right, or you wouldn't be thinking about this. So listen to yourself. Trust me, you will get so much out of this, more than you will even think possible. I couldn't. Yeah, it's been incredible. I just, it won't be what you think. Like for me, it wasn't what I thought I needed. Wasn't actually what I needed. So it just helps really get down to what's going on, and just be open to it. Just go with it and just do what you need to do. Some of us were a bit resistant about, doing a activated breath every morning, but listen to Leanne, it works, and just, jump right in, just do it. Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, so you said that you wanted a relationship. So where are you with that now?
Yes. Well, I was always terrified of joining online dating sites because I didn't want to be rejected. I've been on two dates. They've been fine. But actually, that's not where I'm going to find the man of my dreams when he's ready to appear and when I'm ready to receive him. You know, I just, yeah, and I don't feel the need for a man in my life. I would like a man in my life, but I feel whole and loved because I have the love of my father in my life. So, yeah, I'm, yeah, I mentioned before, I listened to a very good relationship coach around, you know, when you're ready, they will come. So just, yeah, stop forcing it, you know?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's awesome. So, is there anything else that you would like to say, Caroline, that I haven't about the program that I haven't asked you about yet?
Yes. So originally I thought when about the program I wanted to do it myself because I would be dealing with things about me and I didn't really want to share them with the group. But as we said, you just don't get into that sort of thing with the others. And I really value doing this with the other two women in my group. It was just lovely to share our journey together, and I would really recommend that. As I mentioned before, I've never meditated. But it's just made such a difference to my everyday. I start off with it, I feel rested, centered, and energized and ready to do what I needed to do. I state my intention, which I fully fulfilled, I feel, and my purpose, which I'm still fulfilling. But I'm aware of it and conscious of it. And I'm just also more in tune with my three wisdom centers. So my life has mainly been run by my head, with my gut, and my heart just didn't feature. And now my heart is very much in there as well, which is lovely. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes. Yes. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much. And so just for the people listening, so Caroline mentioned the three wisdom centers and in our body, and we have yes, our body holds great wisdom. And when we realize and learn how to access that, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Caroline, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and opening your heart and being vulnerable and sharing with people about, your experiences and your insights. And it's just, it's so valuable. And particularly now in this time, as everybody is being really shaken up in, what life really means to them. And so, yeah, it's like this is perfect timing to really attend to what's important to you.
Yeah. All those niggles, the things you might have been thinking about in lockdown or whatever. Yeah. They're there for a reason. So yeah, act on them. You won't regret it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time here. And for those of you listening, remember, just send us a little note, drop a comment and a question, and Caroline and I will be there responding to you. So thank you again. See you another time. We'll see you,
Bye,
Caroline.
everyone.
Bye.